Zilrax's four eyes widened as he stared at the data readings on his screen. The alien scientist couldn't believe what he was seeing. His purple tentacles trembled as he called out to his captain. "Captain Nexthal, you need to see this immediately." The tall, spindly form of Captain Nexthal glided across the bridge of the research vessel Starweaver. Like all members of the Valderi species, he moved with careful grace in the ship's artificial gravity, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the light. "What have you found, lead researcher?" the captain asked. "Signs of advanced civilization, sir, on that planet." Zilrax pointed one tentacle at the blue-green world floating in the main view screen. "But that's impossible. Our readings show it's a Class 12 death world." The bridge crew fell silent. Class 12 meant the planet was, by galactic standards, incredibly hostile to life. The gravity was crushing. The temperature swings were extreme. The atmosphere was corrosive, and the background radiation was far above normal levels. The fact that any life existed there at all was surprising, but an advanced civilization, unthinkable. "Show me the proof," Captain Nexthal ordered. Zilrax brought up images on the main screen. They showed cities, roads, flying vehicles, and orbital satellites. The crew stared in shock at signs of a thriving technological society. "How is this possible?" the captain wondered aloud. No species could evolve to survive such conditions. At that exact moment, on the planet's surface below, Lieutenant Claire Mitchell was having a very normal day. She stood on the bridge of the U.S. Defender, a Navy destroyer patrolling the Pacific Ocean. The warm sun felt good on her face as she watched the calm waters ahead. "Ma'am," called out Petty Officer Sam Green from his radar station, "I'm picking up something strange in orbit." Claire walked over to look at his screen. "What kind of strange, Sam?" "It's big, about the size of a cruise ship, but it's not showing up on any of our satellite tracking systems, and its orbit, it keeps changing slightly, almost like it's adjusting itself." Claire felt her heart beat faster. After years of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, could this be first contact? She picked up the bridge phone to call her commanding officer. "Captain Rogers, you might want to come see this." Within minutes, Captain Rogers was on the bridge, studying the radar data. He made a quick call to Naval Command, and soon the Defender had new orders. Maintain visual contact with the unknown object and prepare for possible first contact. Up in orbit, the alien crew was still trying to make sense of what they were seeing. "They have nuclear power plants," Zilrax exclaimed, "on a planet where earthquakes and tsunamis are common. They build cities in zones of volcanic activity. Their vehicles move at speeds that would tear apart any sensible life form." Captain Nexthal studied the readings carefully. "Perhaps they are robotic constructs. No biological species could survive such conditions." "No, sir. Our scans show they are definitely organic, bipedal mammals. And," Zilrax paused, checking his readings again, "they appear to be looking at us." Indeed, the humans had noticed the alien ship. News was spreading quickly across Earth's military and civilian networks. The U.S. Defender was now just one of several ships tracking the alien vessel, though it was the closest to its projected orbital path. Claire watched the sky through high-powered binoculars. Sometimes she could catch a glint of light that might be the alien ship reflecting the sun. Her training had prepared her for combat, for storms, for technical failures. But first contact with aliens, this was new territory. "Lieutenant Mitchell," Captain Rogers called. "Naval Command wants us to attempt communication if possible. You're our best communications officer. Any ideas?" Claire thought for a moment. If they're advanced enough for interstellar travel, they'd probably know about radio waves. We could try broadcasting on multiple frequencies. The captain nodded. "Make it happen." As Claire worked with her communications team to prepare a greeting message, the aliens were having their own debate. "We should leave immediately," advised Security Chief Krell. "Any species that can survive on a death world must be incredibly dangerous. We can't leave," Zilrax argued. This is the scientific discovery of the century. A species that evolved on a Class 12 world and developed space technology. The Galactic Council needs to know about this. Captain Nexthal raised one crystalline hand for silence. We are receiving a transmission from the surface. Multiple frequencies. Simple mathematical sequences followed by. Is that an audio-visual signal? The alien crew gathered around their main screen as Claire's message played. She had kept it simple. Greetings from Earth. We come in peace and welcome peaceful contact. Please respond if you can understand this message. The message repeated in several major Earth languages, accompanied by basic mathematical formulas and diagrams meant to demonstrate human intelligence and scientific understanding. They want to communicate, Zilrax said excitedly. Captain, we must respond. They survive on a death world. Security Chief Crow reminded everyone. They could be incredibly violent. If they wanted to be violent, they would have tried to shoot us down. Zilrax countered. Look at their message. Mathematics, science, multiple languages. They're trying to show us they're civilized. Captain Nexthal considered his options. First contact situations were delicate enough without the added complication of the humans' deadly homeworld. But orders were orders. The Starweaver was a research vessel, and its mission was to study new civilizations. Prepare a response, he ordered. But maintain our position in high orbit. We don't know what other surprises these Death Worlders might have for us. The aliens' response reached Earth 20 minutes later. It came in the form of mathematical sequences similar to what humans had sent, followed by visual representations of peaceful greetings from their own civilization. Claire watched the message with growing excitement. The aliens looked nothing like humans. Some had tentacles, others crystalline bodies, and their ship seemed to be crewed by several different species working together. They have a multi-species civilization, she noted. That's a good sign. It means they know how to deal with beings different from themselves. But as the message continued, Claire noticed something odd. The aliens were showing scenes from their homeworlds, and all of them seemed to be places with very weak gravity, thin atmospheres, and extremely stable geological conditions. Places that would be challenging for humans to survive without significant technological help. Captain Rogers saw it too. They're not just different from us physically, he said. They evolved in completely different conditions. To them, Earth must seem like a death world. Claire finished. No wonder they're staying in high orbit. They're probably terrified of getting too close to us. The realization brought both excitement and concern. Humanity's first contact with alien life would be complicated by the fact that humans had evolved on a planet that most galactic species would consider too dangerous to even visit. As the day continued, more messages were exchanged. The aliens identified themselves as representatives of something called the Galactic Council, and they were clearly both fascinated and frightened by humanity's existence. Claire worked through the night, helping to establish better communication protocols with the alien ship. By morning, they had managed to set up a crude but working translation system. The first translated message from Captain Nexthal was telling, "We greet you, brave people of Earth. Your existence challenges everything we thought we knew about life in the galaxy. The Galactic Council will want to know more about you. But first, we must understand how you survive in such extreme conditions." Claire couldn't help smiling as she helped draft the response. How could she explain that to humans? Earth wasn't extreme at all. That they found beauty in its storms, climbed its mountains for fun, and swam in its vast oceans just because they could. This was going to be an interesting first contact indeed. 2 weeks after first contact, Lieutenant Claire Mitchell found herself sitting in an underground conference room at the United Nations building in New York. The room was filled with military officers, scientists, and government officials from around the world. On large screens at the front of the room, the alien representatives from the Galactic Council appeared via video link. "We cannot simply accept your species into the galactic community without proof of your capabilities," said Council Representative Zarn. his crystalline form glittering under his world's purple sky. The other species need reassurance. What kind of proof are you looking for? Asked Dr. Lauren Hayes, Earth's chief xenobiologist for the contact team. She sat next to Claire, taking careful notes on her tablet. A challenge, Zarn replied. We propose a survival test on one of our moderate threat training worlds. If your representatives can survive there for 30 Earth days, we will fast-track your membership application. Claire noticed how the aliens seemed to flinch when saying moderate threat. She had learned enough about their biology over the past 2 weeks to understand why. What they considered threatening was probably just a normal day on Earth. Can you tell us more about this training world? Asked Sergeant Alan Peters, a Marine Corps survival expert who had been brought in as a consultant. The aliens brought up images of the planet. It had gravity about 80% of Earth's, a slightly thinner atmosphere, and temperature ranges from 40 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. There were forests, lakes, and rolling hills. To the humans in the room, it looked like a pleasant place for a camping trip. The gravity is higher than most civilized worlds, Zarn warned, and the temperature variations are extreme. There are also dangerous life forms similar to your Earth's small predators. Claire tried not to smile when she saw the images of the dangerous life forms. They looked like house cats with 6 legs. The most threatening creature they showed was about the size of a large dog. We would like to send 3 representatives, Dr. Hayes suggested. A military officer, a survival expert, and a scientist. Would that be acceptable? The aliens conferred among themselves before agreeing. We will send 3 of our most experienced survival specialists as well, Zarn said, not to compete, but to observe and verify your performance. After the meeting, Claire, Alan, and Lauren found themselves selected as Earth's representatives. They had a week to prepare for the challenge. I can't believe they think that place is dangerous, Alan said as they reviewed the planetary data in their preparation room. It's like a perfect spring day in California, but with lower gravity. We could probably run marathons there. Remember, Lauren cautioned, what's easy for us is terrifying for them. We need to be careful not to frighten our observers too much. This is about proving we can be part of their community, not showing off. Claire nodded. Lauren's right. We need to show them we're capable, but also that we're safe to be around. No hunting the local wildlife for fun, Alan. Spoil sport, Alan grinned. But you're right. We're diplomats now, not just survivors. The week passed quickly with preparations. They were allowed to bring basic survival gear, knives, fire starters, water purifiers, and some emergency rations. The aliens seemed shocked that they didn't want environmental suits or gravity compensators. On the day of departure, a Galactic Council transport ship landed at a specially prepared site in Nevada. Claire led her team up the ramp, carrying their minimal gear in standard hiking backpacks. The alien crew watched them nervously, as if expecting the humans to break something just by touching it. Their observers introduced themselves. Crix, a tentacled being who specialized in extreme environment survival. Yara, a floating gas-filled creature who studied dangerous life forms. And Brent, a crystalline being like Zarn, who was their medical expert. Your safety is our primary concern, Crix said as the ship lifted off. We have emergency evacuation protocols in place if the conditions prove too harsh. Thank you, Claire replied diplomatically. We'll be sure to let you know if we need help. She caught Alan trying not to laugh and shot him a warning look. The journey took 3 days. During that time, the humans tried to learn more about their observers. Despite their initial fear, the aliens were curious about Earth life. They were especially interested in human recreational activities. You climb mountains for fun? Yara asked, her gas-filled body rippling with shock. Some of us do, Lauren explained. Humans enjoy challenging themselves. It helps us grow stronger and learn our limits. But you could die, Brent exclaimed. That's why we train and use safety equipment, Claire said. The challenge isn't about being reckless. It's about preparing properly and knowing how to handle risks. When they reached the training world, the ship landed in a clearing near a lake. The humans stepped out into the sunshine, breathing deeply of the clean air. To them, it felt incredibly light and easy to move in the lower gravity. "We'll set up camp here," Claire decided, picking a spot on a small rise overlooking the lake. Good view of the surrounding area, close to water, plenty of resources nearby. The aliens watched in amazement as the humans easily carried large logs to make a fire pit, dug drainage trenches around their campsite, and set up basic shelters using materials from the surrounding forest. They didn't even use their powered tools, preferring to work by hand to get a better feel for the local materials. "Is this really not difficult for you?" Crix asked, watching Alan casually lift a log that would have required mechanical assistance for most galactic species. "Not really," Alan replied. "This is pretty much like a basic training exercise, just with better weather and lower gravity. Want to help me gather some firewood?" Crix backed away nervously. "I think I'll observe from here." As night fell, the humans had a comfortable camp set up, complete with a small fire that fascinated their observers. None of them had seen anyone deliberately create and control fire without advanced technology before. "Day 1 down, 29 to go," Claire said as they sat around the fire. "I think we're off to a good start." "They're still scared of us," Lauren noted quietly, "but they're also fascinated. That's progress. Wait until they see us swimming in the lake tomorrow," Alan grinned, "or climbing those interesting-looking cliffs to the north." "Remember, we're not here to terrify them," Claire reminded him. "But a little demonstration of human capabilities might help them understand us better." As they talked, their observers huddled in their environmental suits near their monitoring equipment, taking detailed notes on everything the humans did. Every time the humans showed their ease in what the aliens considered harsh conditions, the observers' data pads filled with more surprised comments and questions. This challenge was going to be more than just a survival test. It was becoming a chance to help the galaxy understand that humanity's death world origins weren't something to fear, but rather something that had made them uniquely capable and adaptable. As Claire looked up at the unfamiliar stars, she wondered what other misconceptions they would need to overcome before humanity could find its place in the galactic community. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she was sure that the very traits that made aliens fear them, their strength, endurance, and adaptability, would help them succeed. 2 weeks into the survival challenge, Lieutenant Claire Mitchell sat by the lake, cleaning the fish she had caught for dinner. The alien observers watched from a safe distance, still amazed by how casually she handled what they considered a dangerous water predator. "You're sure that creature is safe to eat?" Crix asked, his tentacles curling with worry. "We tested it with the scanners you gave us," Claire replied. "It's very similar to earth fish. Actually tastes a bit like trout." Nearby, Surgeon Alan Peters was teaching Yara about human climbing techniques. The floating alien watched in fascination as Alan easily scaled a 30-foot cliff face without any powered assistance. "But what if you fall?" Yara asked, her gas-filled body swaying anxiously. "That's why we check our handholds and always maintain 3 points of contact," Alan explained. "It's basic safety. Want to see me do it again?" Dr. Lauren Hayes sat at their camp table, comparing notes with Brent about the local plants. Over the past 2 weeks, she had identified several species that could be useful for medicine or food. The crystalline alien was impressed by how quickly she had learned to handle the local flora without protective gear. "Your species adapts so quickly," Brent noted. "It's both fascinating and concerning." Lauren was about to reply when she felt a slight tremor in the ground. She looked up, noticing that Claire and Alan had felt it too. The aliens, however, seemed panic-stricken. "Seismic activity," Crix shouted. "We must evacuate immediately." "Wait," Claire said calmly. "That was just a small tremor. Let's check the monitoring equipment before we panic." The aliens' instruments showed that a significant earthquake was indeed coming. To the aliens, it looked catastrophic. To the humans, it seemed like a moderate shake, maybe a 5 or 6 on the Richter scale. "The emergency ship can be here in 20 minutes, Yara said, already sending the alert signal. "We're not leaving," Claire stated firmly. "This is exactly the kind of situation where humanity's experience can help. There are 3 research teams in the valley who might need assistance." The aliens stared at her in shock. The research teams she mentioned were groups of various alien species studying the local wildlife. None of them had the physical capabilities of humans, and their protective equipment would make quick movement difficult. "You want to go toward the danger?" Brent asked in disbelief. "That's what humans do," Alan said, already packing emergency supplies. "We help others in danger. It's part of who we are." Lauren quickly organized their medical supplies. "We should split up. We can cover more ground that way." The aliens watched in amazement as the humans calmly prepared for disaster response. Claire laid out the plan. Ellen would head to the northern research station, Lauren to the eastern one, and she would take the southern path. Each human would be accompanied by 1 alien observer. But the gravity is too high for quick movement," Crix protested. "The ground will be unstable." "Then stay here if you need to," Claire said kindly. "But we're going. Those research teams need help." Before the aliens could protest further, the main quake hit. Trees swayed, rocks tumbled down the cliffs, and the lake's surface rippled with waves. The humans merely adjusted their stance and kept working. Claire ran toward the southern station, with Yara floating nervously behind her. The human moved with sure steps even as the ground shook, easily avoiding falling debris and jumping over newly formed cracks in the earth. They found the southern research team trapped in their habitat module. The quake had damaged the structure's legs, leaving it tilted dangerously. The alien researchers inside were frozen with fear. "Stay calm," Claire called out. "We're here to help." Using strength that amazed the observers, she helped stabilize the habitat with fallen logs while directing the evacuation. The alien researchers couldn't believe a Death Worlder was saving them. At the northern station, Alan discovered that a landslide had blocked the main exit. He quickly found another way in through a maintenance hatch and helped the research team escape. His ability to function in what the aliens considered crushing gravity seemed like a superhero power to them. Lauren reached the eastern station to find several injured researchers. Her knowledge of both human and alien biology proved invaluable as she provided first aid. The fact that she could treat wounds without getting dizzy at the sight of different colored blood impressed everyone. When the emergency ship finally arrived, they found not a disaster scene, but an organized rescue operation led by the humans. All 3 research teams had been safely evacuated to high ground. Injuries had been treated, and vital equipment had been saved. "I don't understand," the ship's captain said to Claire. "Our reports said this was a catastrophic event." "For your normal colonists, maybe," Claire explained. "But humans are used to earthquakes. We've learned to build, plan, and react with them in mind." "You truly are Death Worlders," Crix said, but now his voice held respect rather than fear. "You turned what we saw as a disaster into a rescue mission. That's the thing about coming from a death world," Alan added. "You learned that the most dangerous thing you can do in a crisis is nothing." That evening, as the humans helped the research teams set up temporary camps, news of their actions spread through the Galactic Council's communications network. The story of how 3 humans had calmly handled a crisis that would have terrified most species was causing quite a stir. "The council representatives are calling," Brent told Claire. "They're impressed. Very impressed." "We were just doing what any human would do," Claire said. "On Earth, helping others in danger is normal." "Perhaps," Yara said thoughtfully, "that is why you evolved on a death world. Not just to survive it, but to help others survive too." Lauren smiled. "You might be right. Humans are tough, but we're also caring. The 2 traits go hand in hand." As they sat around their campfire that night, The alien observers had moved much closer than before. They were starting to understand that human strength and resilience weren't things to fear, but rather gifts that could benefit the entire galactic community. 2 weeks to go, Claire said, looking at the stars. What other adventures do you think this world has in store for us? Whatever comes, Crix replied, surprising everyone. I believe we are in good hands with our Death Worlder friends. The humans shared a smile. Finally, the aliens were beginning to understand that being from a death world didn't make humans dangerous. It made them dependable allies in times of crisis. 3 weeks into the survival challenge, everything changed. Lieutenant Claire Mitchell was teaching the aliens how to make a safe campfire when the emergency alert came through on their communication system. This is a priority message from Galactic Council Command, a voice announced. The Ravagers have begun a major attack on multiple Council worlds. All non-essential operations are suspended. Return to your nearest secure facility immediately. The alien observers turned pale in their various ways. Crix's tentacles went limp, Yara's gas body shrank, and Brenk's crystal form dulled. Who are the Ravagers? Claire asked, already packing up their gear. The most aggressive species we've ever encountered, Crix explained, his voice shaking. They attack without warning, destroy everything in their path, and take what they want. Our weapons barely slow them down. The emergency ship was already on its way, but bad news arrived before it could reach them. The Ravagers had attacked nearby systems. Space travel was becoming dangerous. Show me their attack pattern, Claire said. The aliens brought up a holographic map showing the Ravagers' movements. She studied it carefully, her military training kicking in. They're not just random attacks, she realized. This is a planned invasion strategy. Alan, Lauren, what do you see? Sergeant Alan Peters pointed at several spots on the map. They're targeting supply lines first, cutting off reinforcements. Classic tactics. Dr. Lauren Hayes noticed something else. Look at their ship movements. They're avoiding the areas with stronger gravity and radiation. Just like most galactic species, they prefer easier conditions. Claire smiled slowly. That's it. They have the same weaknesses as other galactic species. They're not used to harsh conditions like we are. Before she could explain more, the emergency ship arrived. But instead of rescue, it brought more bad news. The Ravagers had attacked a nearby colony world. The Council forces there were losing badly. How far is the colony? Claire asked. 1 hour at maximum speed, the ship's captain replied. But we can't go there. The Ravagers have heavy weapons, advanced shields, and they've never faced humans before. Claire interrupted. Take us there. The alien stared at her in shock. Alan grinned and checked his gear. Lauren quickly packed her medical supplies. You want to fight the Ravagers? Crix asked in disbelief. But even our best warriors can't stand against them. Your best warriors aren't Death Worlders, Alan said. We are. During the short flight, Claire explained her plan. The Ravagers had never faced beings evolved from a death world. They wouldn't expect enemies who could function well in high gravity, who were used to radiation, and who had evolved to handle extreme conditions. When they reached the colony, the situation was bad. The Ravagers, tall beings in powered armor, were breaking through the last defenses. Council forces were retreating from the colony's main dome. Land behind that ridge, Claire ordered. We'll go in on foot. On foot. The ship's captain squeaked. In this gravity, it's still lighter than Earth, Alan said. Perfect for what we have planned. The 3 humans moved quickly through the rough terrain. The higher gravity that slowed down other species barely affected them. They could run and climb where the Ravagers had to use powered assistance. Lauren, get to the medical center and help the wounded, Claire ordered. Alan, create some distractions on the east side. I'll work on taking down their shields. The aliens watched through cameras as the humans went to work. Lauren reached the medical center and began organizing the evacuation of wounded, carrying alien children to safety with ease. Her Earth-evolved strength let her move quickly even while carrying others. Ellen used his marine training to set traps using the colony's machinery. The Ravagers' powered armor, designed for normal gravity worlds, became a weakness in the higher gravity when Alan damaged their power systems. They couldn't move well without their suits' help. Claire studied the Ravagers' shield generators and spotted their weak point. Like most galactic technology, they weren't designed to handle much physical stress. She used simple physics, a well-placed rock from the high-gravity world, thrown with human-level strength, to hit the generator's weak spot. When the shields fell, Claire sent a message to the Council forces. Attack from the north side. We'll keep them busy in the south. The Ravagers had never faced an enemy like this. Their sensors showed only 3 targets, but these targets could move faster than their powered armor in the high gravity. They couldn't understand how the small beings could hit so hard or move so quickly without technological help. Pull back, the Ravager commander ordered. These are not normal Council forces. But retreat wasn't easy. Alan had trapped their escape routes. The Council forces, encouraged by the human success, attacked with new confidence. The Ravagers found themselves being driven back by enemies they couldn't properly fight. The battle ended faster than anyone expected. The Ravagers, unable to handle the combination of higher gravity and human tactics, surrendered. Their powered armor had become a prison in the strong gravity after Alan disabled their power systems. How did you defeat them so easily? The colony's governor asked Claire afterward. We used their assumptions against them, she explained. They rely on technology to operate in these conditions. We don't have to. That's what being from a death world means. We're always ready for harsh conditions. The news of the humans' victory spread quickly through Council space. 3 humans had helped defeat a Ravager attack force that would normally require an entire Council battle fleet to challenge. The Council representatives are calling for emergency meetings, Crix told Claire. They want to know if there are more humans willing to help fight the Ravagers. Claire looked at Alan and Lauren, who nodded. Tell them Earth is ready to help. But first, they need to understand something. We won't just fight for them. We want to teach them to defend themselves. Teach us? Yara asked. Yes, Claire said. Being strong isn't enough. We need to share our knowledge, our tactics, our way of thinking. Earth has a long history of warfare, but also of building peace through strength and understanding. As the emergency meetings began, Claire found herself explaining human military concepts to amazed Council representatives. The aliens were starting to see that humanity's death world origins had created not just powerful warriors, but also clever strategists and determined protectors. Perhaps, Brent said thoughtfully, we were wrong to fear death worlders. We should have been grateful they existed. Claire smiled. We're not just death worlders anymore. Now we're your allies, and together, we'll show the Ravagers why that's a very bad thing for them. 1 month after the Ravager attack, Lieutenant Claire Mitchell stood in the Great Hall of the Galactic Council. The massive room was filled with representatives from hundreds of worlds. She felt proud in her new uniform, which combined Earth military styling with Council symbols. Beside her stood Sergeant Alan Peters and Dr. Lauren Hayes, also wearing the new uniforms. Their alien friends, Crix, Yara, and Brennick, sat in the front row, no longer afraid to be near the humans. The survival challenge is complete, announced Council leader Zarn. But these humans did far more than survive. They showed us what it truly means to come from a death world. The hall's screen showed images from the past month. The humans handling the earthquake crisis, fighting the Ravagers, and teaching Council forces new tactics. Each image brought murmurs of approval from the watching aliens. When we first discovered Earth, Zarn continued, we were afraid. We thought any species from such a harsh world must be dangerous. We were wrong. They are powerful, yes, but they use their strength to protect others. Claire stepped forward to speak. The council had asked her to present Earth's proposal for the future. She had practiced her speech carefully, keeping it simple and clear. People of the Galactic Council, she began, Earth wants to help. We can teach your forces how to handle tough conditions. We can help protect your worlds. But we want something in return. The alien representatives leaned forward, curious. We want to learn from you too, Claire explained. You have amazing technology. You know how to work together across different species. We want to be real partners, not just your warriors. Lauren stepped up next. Earth's scientists want to work with yours. We can show you how we adapt to harsh conditions. You can show us how you built a peaceful galactic community. And we want to create something new, Alan added. A joint force of humans and council species working together to keep peace in the galaxy. The council chamber buzzed with excited discussion. This was different from anything they had expected. The Death Worlders weren't asking to take over. They wanted to cooperate. Zarn raised his crystalline hands for silence. You propose a true partnership then, not just a military alliance. Yes, Claire answered. Humans are strong because we had to be, but we're smart too. We know we can learn as much from you as you can learn from us. The council voted immediately. The result was clear. Earth would join the Galactic Council as a full member. But they would have a special role, teaching other species how to handle tough situations. After the vote, the real work began. Claire found herself in charge of the new Joint Defense Force. It was a big job, but she had help. Alan led the training programs, teaching council forces how to fight without relying too much on technology. Lauren worked with alien scientists, helping them understand how humans adapted to different environments. Look at this, Crix said one day, showing Claire a report. 10 council worlds have already started building human-style emergency response teams. Claire smiled. The aliens were learning that they didn't need powered armor and environmental suits for everything. Sometimes, being tough and clever was enough. And look at these, Yara added excitedly, floating near a group of council cadets. The aliens were practicing Earth-style physical training, building up their natural strength instead of relying on technology. They're doing better than we expected, Alan noted proudly. Turns out lots of species can handle tough conditions if they try. They just needed someone to show them how. Even the ravagers were changing. After their defeat, many of them had surrendered to the council. When they learned about Earth, some asked to visit. They were amazed to find beings who could match their strength without powered armor. We thought we were the toughest species in the galaxy, a ravager leader admitted to Claire. But you showed us what real toughness is. It's not just about being strong. It's about using your strength wisely. 6 months after Earth joined the council, the changes were clear. Council ships now had human crew members, helping them handle emergencies. Earth hosted alien students, teaching them survival skills while learning about advanced technology. Remember when they were scared to even land on Earth? Lauren asked one day, watching a group of alien tourists hiking in the Rocky Mountains. Now they pay good money to visit our death world and try our sports. Alan laughed. Though I still think bungee jumping might be too much for them. Claire's proudest moment came when the first joint human-alien emergency team handled a crisis on a colony world. A solar storm had damaged the colony's shields, but the team worked together perfectly. The aliens provided the technical knowledge to fix the shields, while the humans helped everyone stay calm and handle the harsh conditions. That's what partnership looks like, she told her team afterward. Everyone doing what they do best, helping each other succeed. Back on Earth, things were changing too. Alien technology helped make life easier, but humans kept their tough, adaptable nature. If anything, exploring the galaxy made humans appreciate their home world more. Earth isn't a death world, Claire told a group of alien visitors as they watched the sunset from Mount Everest's base camp. It's a training ground. It made us strong so we could help others be strong too. The aliens nodded in understanding. They had learned that what seemed scary at first could become a source of strength when you understood it better. 1 year after first contact, the Galactic Council held a special ceremony. They officially named Earth as the headquarters for the new Joint Defense Force. The citation read, "For showing us that what we feared as weakness could become our greatest strength." Claire stood with her friends, both human and alien, watching Earth's flag rise alongside the Council banner. "What's next?" Brent asked. "We keep learning from each other," Claire replied. "We keep exploring, keep growing stronger together. After all, there's a whole galaxy out there to discover. And if we find more death worlds?" Crix asked. "Then we'll know exactly what to do," Claire smiled. "We'll welcome them as friends, not fear them as enemies. Because that's what the galaxy needs, friends who are strong enough to help each other." As the ceremony ended, Claire looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, other death worlds might be waiting to be found. Thanks to Earth's example, the galaxy would be ready to welcome them. The age of fear was over. The age of partnership had begun.